Hi and welcome to Avalon Gardens, where today we're going to be doing our first garden tour. Oh, we haven't built the gardens yet. Well, we are going to be building gardens here, as well as a house, a high tunnel, and a barn. And this is going to be our future homestead. My husband and I and my sister Deborah moved here from Washington State, Tri-Cities area. And we moved here to the Panhandle of Florida, where we purchased 9 acres to build our homestead. So let's take a tour of the property. We're gonna walk you through. But before we do that, I'm gonna put up 2 pictures of an aerial view of our property so you can see where we're going. We're going to go to the left first, through the back, across the back, and up the front. And you'll see that as we walk through. So come on and join us. We're going to walk you around the property a little bit so you can see kind of what's in here. None of this property is old growth. All of it is kind of new growth. We believe at some point in history this whole area was clear cut for the wood. And so all you have here is kind of scrub trees. We're going to be clearing about 3 acres. There is power and water to the property. And we are going to be clearing a path right now through our forest so that we can walk you through here. We have a little chainsaw that we're using to clear a path. We have walked about 200 feet from the road, and we believe this is about where the house will sit. The road is kind of noisy and people do drive pretty fast. And so we want to be far enough back where we feel like we're going to be safe, as well as kind of buffer us from the road noise. But this is about where our house will sit. And then behind the house will be the barn and the gardens and the high tunnel. Here we are in kind of where the back of the house will be, and we found these palmettos. I think that's what they are. We don't have plants like this in the Tri-Cities, and so we are hoping to be able to keep a lot of this type of greenery because they're so cute. There are also some magnolias. There's a big magnolia tree back here somewhere.
Let's go find it.
And we want to hopefully keep that as well. I love magnolia trees. I had magnolia bushes in our yard, and I love the flowers, and I'm really hoping to be able to keep those too. We will be fencing in the garden to prevent the deer from having a feast day. And hopefully that will keep the bears out as well. Here is a small magnolia that we just found. The large one, we're looking for it. We're not sure where it is. but those are the type of trees that we want to keep. If we thin this out, trees like this will grow to be very, very large. And so we're hoping to get rid of a lot of this scrap trees and grow some really nice trees that are common to this area, that are native, is our goal. All right, here's the survey marker for the back of our property. It goes from there all the way through there, and then it goes across. We have 5 corners. Here's one of the magnolias that I was talking about earlier. It's just so crowded with all of these trees. But some of the areas, it's pretty thick in here. And then there's like little clearings. All right, we found another corner. We did have our property surveyed, and they did drop additional markers. I'll show you one right there. And then we also asked them to mark the halfway points so that we knew where everything was. Pretty easy to get turned around in here. We've been using Google Maps because we're getting turned around, and it's pretty warm today. It's about 72. It's probably about 70 here in the forest. And I'm wearing my coat because last time we were here, my sister Deborah got bit by a bumblebee or some type of bee that lives in the ground. And so I didn't want to get bit by a bee, so I'm wearing my coat. So I'm pretty warm. So we're going to continue and look for our next pin. All right, here's another one of our markers. I've never been back here. Kind of give you a view of this area. Here we are back in the front. There's one of our front markers.
Look at the road.
And here's our future driveway right there, and the road. So here we are back in the front after walking through the property. This is one of our front property lines. It's down there just a little ways. And you can see that the road is pretty busy, and that's why we would prefer our house to sit about 200 feet back. Interesting, the people who own this property before us started to build a house, and that's why there's power and water on the property. They did pour footings and start building a wall, but it's only about 100 feet from the center of the road, so it's really not very far away from the road. And I will show you that now. So you can see where they started to build the wall. There's a couple of footings down here, but they didn't get very far. And we're not sure why or what happened, but we are not going to be using this. Another thing that we noticed while walking through the property the last few times is we know that there are some native trees here, but a lot of them really aren't native trees. And there isn't a lot of wildlife. And so as we start taking down some of these trees, we hope to introduce some native items, native bushes, native grasses, and flowers into the environment to really help liven the area Now, right here in the front, there are a few birds, but as you get towards the back to the center, it must be really acidic back there because it's total silence and there's no birds. There's no bugs, there's no butterflies, there's nothing. So as we develop the property, we hope to introduce those things to bring back and revitalize the property. So I want to thank you again for joining us on our journey to developing this 9-acre homestead. If you have a dream, I would really encourage you to nurture that dream and to focus on that dream, even if you think it will never come true. Because my husband and I never thought we would own 9 acres in Florida. And because we nurtured a dream of having a homestead, here we are today. It seems like we're waiting a long time to build the house. We've been here for a couple of months and things seem to be really slow, but we are going to continue to nurture that dream and develop this into a beautiful homestead.